Right now, brand new cars are rotting on dealer lots across America, some for over 500 days. While Toyota completely sells out in just 2 weeks, these desperate dealers are bleeding thousands in bank interest every single month just watching inventory collect dust. So why are these 10 specific models completely toxic to the public? More importantly, how do you weaponize this dealer panic to slice thousands off the price? Let's get straight into it. Number 10. Jeep Grand Wagoneer L. With a market days supply of around 282 days. Kicking things off, we've got the Jeep Grand Wagoneer L. And look, I understand what Jeep was trying to do here. They wanted a 6-figure luxury SUV to go toe-to-toe with the Cadillac Escalade. They built something massive, loaded it with screens, leather, and wood trim, slapped a $100,000 price tag on it. And buyers said, no thanks. Because here's the thing. When you're spending $100,000 on a full-size luxury SUV, the badge on the hood matters. A lot. And most buyers in that segment aren't choosing a Jeep over a Cadillac, a Lincoln Navigator, or a Range Rover, no matter how nice the interior is. On top of that, Stellantis rolled out a brand new Hurricane twin-turbo inline-6 engine, and early buyers have been nervous about long-term reliability on an unproven power plant. That hesitation is real. It's showing up in the sales numbers. Stellantis is in a serious inventory spiral right now, and the Grand Wagoneer L is a prime example of what happens when ambition gets ahead of brand credibility. Number 9. Buick Envision. With a market days supply of around 287 days. This one is a story of getting completely lost in the crowd. The mid-size crossover segment is one of the most competitive spaces in all of automotive. You've got Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, all fighting for that value-conscious buyer from one side, and then Lexus, Acura, Genesis pulling the aspirational buyer from the other side. And the Envision? It sits awkwardly in the middle. It's not cheap enough to be the obvious practical choice, and it's not quite prestigious enough to justify the premium over a loaded Hyundai Tucson or a base Lexus UX. Buick has been trying to reposition itself as a legitimate near-luxury brand for years. The Envision is a decent vehicle, it really is, but in this market, decent doesn't move iron. With nearly 300 days of supply piling up, dealers are quietly begging for relief. Number 8. Nissan Leaf. With a market days supply of around 296 days. I want to give credit where it's due. The Leaf was genuinely revolutionary when it launched. It was one of the first affordable mass-market EVs. It helped prove the segment could exist. But that was then. In 2026, the Leaf is technologically stranded. It still uses the CHMO charging standard, a standard that virtually every other automaker has abandoned. Finding a CHMO fast charger is like finding a Blockbuster video. They exist, but you're going out of your way to find one. Every other mainstream EV has migrated to CCS or NACS, the Tesla standard, and the infrastructure is everywhere. Leaf owners are stuck with a charging network that's quietly disappearing. In the EV space, range anxiety is already a barrier for buyers. When you add charger compatibility anxiety on top of it, you've got a car that's genuinely difficult to recommend, even at a discount. The market has spoken, nearly 300 days of supply sitting idle. Number 7. Mazda MX-5 Miata. With a market days supply of around 315 days. Okay, this one genuinely hurts to say, because the MX-5 Miata is one of the best driver's cars ever built. It is brilliant. Light, balanced, communicates everything through the steering wheel. It's the purist's choice. But the Miata has a logistics problem. It's an extremely seasonal, extremely niche vehicle. People buy convertible sports cars in the spring and summer. When that window closes, they stop buying. And right now, with high interest rates squeezing budgets everywhere, discretionary fund purchases are getting cut first. Buyers who are stretching their budget want something practical, something that can haul groceries, fit car seats, handle a road trip. The Miata does exactly none of those things, and right now, practicality is winning. Dealers are being forced to slash margins on an enthusiast icon just to make room for the SUVs and crossovers that actually sell. 315 days of supply for a sports car that deserves better. Number 6. Maserati Grayscale. With a market days supply of around 321 days. At number 6, we've got the Maserati Grayscale. Average transaction price around $83,000. And on paper, this thing looks great. Italian styling, sporty character, upscale interior. The problem is the badge anxiety it creates in buyers who've done their homework. Maserati has a reputation, and not the good kind. We're talking historically brutal maintenance costs, eye-watering repair bills, and depreciation curves that fall off a cliff the moment you sign the paperwork. Maseratis are famous for losing value at a pace that makes accountants cry. So when a buyer with $83,000 to spend walks into a showroom, they do the math pretty quickly. A Porsche Macan? Reliable, holds its value, incredible resale. A BMW X3M? Proven powertrain, massive dealer network. The Maserati looks like the move until you start asking around. And then people run. 321 days of supply. Number 5. Ford Mustang Mach-E, with a market days supply of around 350 days. Number 5 is where things get really interesting, and this is a case study in how badly a major automaker can misread the market. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, 350 days of supply, nearly a full year just sitting there. Ford went all in on EV adoption projections that simply didn't materialize at the pace they expected. They ramped up production, flooded their own dealerships, and found themselves in a classic supply and demand disaster. But there's a second layer here that makes it worse: the name. Traditional Mustang fans are genuinely furious that Ford put the Mustang nameplate on a family crossover. To the purist, the Mustang is a two-door V8 pony car. Its heritage, its culture. Calling an electric crossover a Mustang felt like a betrayal to a passionate, vocal community, and those people made their feelings very clear. Ford has been throwing 0% financing deals at this problem for months, trying to salvage the numbers. At this point, if you're even slightly interested in the Mach-E, you are in a phenomenal negotiating position. Number 4. Audi Q5 and S3, with a market days supply of over 363 days. Specifically, the Q5 and S3, sitting at over 363 days of supply. This is a broader story about what's happening to German luxury across the board. The premium buyer is changing behavior in a big way right now. High interest rates have made leasing, which was the vehicle for luxury cars, far less attractive. The monthly payments that used to make a $55,000 Audi accessible are now significantly higher. So buyers are either stepping down in price point, extending their ownership of existing vehicles, or they're pivoting. And where are they pivoting? Japanese luxury. Lexus specifically. Incredibly reliable, lower cost of ownership, and dealers who actually have service capacity. The perception gap between German engineering and the reality of ownership costs has been growing for years, and right now, buyers are acting on it. Over a full year of Audi inventory sitting on lots is the real-world consequence. Number 3. Jeep Gladiator, with a market days supply of over 365 days. This one is a story of a brand that got greedy and got punished for it. A few years ago, the Gladiator was a hot product. Unique concept, no real competition, a mid-sized truck with trail-rated off-road DNA. People loved it. Waiting lists existed. Dealers were marking them up. Then Jeep did what automakers always do when something works. They raised the prices. Repeatedly. And the Gladiator crept from a competitive mid-sized truck into premium truck pricing territory. And truck buyers? They started doing the comparison. For what Jeep was asking, you could get into a properly equipped Ford F-150 or Chevy Silverado. Proven full-size trucks with massive dealer networks and better resale. The value equation flipped. Now Jeep is throwing massive incentives at the Gladiator, discounts that would have seemed impossible 2 years ago, and it's still sitting. The pricing trust has been broken, and winning it back is very, very hard. 365+ days of supply tells that entire story. Number 2. Dodge Charger, with a market days supply of around 452 days. And this is genuinely one of the most dramatic self-inflicted brand disasters we've seen in modern automotive history. The Dodge Charger, 452 days of supply, over 15 months of vehicles sitting on lots. Here's what happened. Dodge spent decades building a cult following around affordable, loud, powerful V8 Hemi muscle cars. The Charger and the Challenger weren't just vehicles, they were a lifestyle. People tattooed these cars. They built communities around them. That loyalty is rare in this industry. Then Dodge discontinued the affordable V8 models and replaced them with a lineup anchored by high-priced electric versions and 6-cylinder powertrains. The core fan base felt abandoned. They revolted. And new buyers, the EV-curious crowd, didn't see the Dodge Charger as their first electric vehicle. They looked at Tesla, they looked at Hyundai, they looked at Kia. Not Dodge. Dodge is now stuck in no man's land. They lost their loyalists and didn't capture a new audience. The result? 452 days of inventory that dealers simply cannot move. Number 1. Volkswagen ID.4. With a market days supply of over 536 days. At number 1, the slowest selling mainstream vehicle in America right now. The Volkswagen ID.4. Over 536 days of supply. At the current pace of sales, it would take a year and a half to clear VW lots. Let that sink in. So what went wrong? 3 things hit at once. First, the ID.4 launched with serious software bugs and over-the-air update failures, and in the EV market, where buyers are already taking a leap of faith, bad word of mouth is lethal. Second, Volkswagen simply has no EV identity in America. They're not Tesla. They're not exciting. They're just Volkswagen. And third, the competition got fierce fast. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6 came in with better range, better tech, and better styling. Mainstream buyers had better options, and they took them. 536 days. VW dealers are bleeding, and if you walk onto that lot today, you have enormous leverage. Alright, here's what this means for you. When a car has 300, 400, 500 days of supply, the dealer is paying the bank interest every single day it sits there. That pain is your leverage. 3 moves when you walk onto that lot. 1. Research the MDS number and manufacturer incentives before you go. 2. Open below MSRP, not at it. 3. Be willing to walk away. That last one is the most powerful thing you can do. Dealers will find a way to make the deal work when they know you're not emotionally committed. Their inventory crisis is your opportunity. Use it. Drop a comment. Would you buy any of these cars if the discount was deep enough? The Miata at 20% off. The ID.4 at 0% financing? Let me know. Subscribe for more real market breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.